أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. وأصلي وأسلم على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن اتبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. So if you can
bring closer.
I guess I'll look at the board. وأصحابه ومن اهتدى بهداه واقتفى أثره استنى بسنته وأحبه وارتضى بما دعا إليه وجتباه صلى الله عليه وسلم. طيب اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. How are you guys today? طيب أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قال الإمام البخاري رحمه الله تعالى حدثنا محمد بن سلام قال أخبرنا عبدة عن عبيد الله عن سعيد بن أبي سعيد عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال سئل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أي الناس أكرم. Abu Hurairah رضي الله عنه said that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم was asked who is the most honorable person. What does it mean to be honorable? I'm asking. Okay, good. Anyone else? What does it mean to have honor?
To be respected.
To be what?
Respected.
Respected. Okay, Ayo? To be responsible. Very good. What do you think, Ammar? What does it mean to be honorable? To be responsible. Hassan? What does it mean to be honorable?
Combination of what they just said.
I'm sorry, what?
Combination of what they just said.
So there's an Arabic saying that said, if you honor an honorable person, you own them. And if you honor a despicable person, they are despicable. Or they despise you. So honor, and I guess you can say it's a combination of what you guys talked about. But honor is, or a person who's honorable, is one who does the right thing even if it hurts them.
Integrity.
Sorry, what? A person who does what's right and goes the extra mile to make sure it's right. Why? Because you know it's right. And part of that, or an example of that, is when someone does something right by me, I'm eternally in debt to them. Right? Meaning, no matter what's going on, how many times I've done something nice for them, I'm always in debt to them. I always have to do something by them. Why? Because they did something right by me. This is what the poem means. If you honor an honorable person, you own them. You own them, meaning they're always at your service. Why? Because they're honorable. Okay? That's how an honorable person acts. Someone does something nice for me, khalas, that's it. Even if later on they do me over, I'm still indebted to them because they helped me out at one point or another. So the Prophet ﷺ was asked, who is the most honorable? قال أكرمهم عند الله أتقاهم. The most honorable with Allah Azza wa Jal are those who have the most piety. What does it mean to be pious?
Show great, the best character that you can, or character.
Basically, acting in the best way for the sake of acting in the best way. For the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's taqwa. Right? Piety is to always do your best to do your best. Right? Always do your best to do your best. You're the best at what you do, whatever it is you do. So the most honorable, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. The most honorable among you with Allah are those who are most pious. So they said, قالوا ليس عن هذا نسألك. They said, we're not asking you about this. قال فأكرم الناس يوسف بن نبي الله ابن نبي الله ابن خليل الله. They said, we're not asking you about this. The Prophet ﷺ then said, the most honorable person is Yusuf alayhi salam, a prophet of Allah, the son of a prophet of Allah, the son of a prophet of Allah, the son of Khalilullah, the close ally of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So Yusuf is the son of a prophet. Yusuf is a prophet, son of a prophet who was what? Yaqub alayhi salam. Son of a prophet who's what? Isaac, Ishaq alayhi salam. Son of a prophet or son of Khalilullah is Ibrahim alayhi salam. So he said he's the most honorable person. So a whole 4 generations of prophethood. Ibrahim, Ishaq, Yaqub, Yusuf. 4 generations of prophethood. Yusuf alayhi salam. قالوا ليس عن هذا نسألك. They said, this is not what we're asking you about, Ya Rasulullah. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم فعن معادن العرب تسألوني. He said, are you asking me about the true nature of Arabs? Are you asking me about the best character that Arabs have? That's what he's talking about. قالوا نعم. He said, yes. قال فخياركم في الجاهلية خياركم في الإسلام إذا فقهوا. The best of you in ignorance are the best of you in Islam as long as they learn the deen. They learn the laws and regulations of the deen. Who can talk to me about what the Prophet ﷺ is saying? What do you guys think? The most honorable person, right? Meaning the most honorable characteristics. Prophet ﷺ said, the best of you in ignorance, meaning before Islam, are also the best of you in Islam as long as they learn the laws and rules of deen. What is the Prophet ﷺ saying here? Lost.
Laws and regulations of Islam, even if you have nothing, are foundation of how you can.
You're missing the point. The best of you in ignorance, without Islam, are also the best of you in Islam, as long as they learn the rules. So say for example, a person is a mayor of a township before Islam. And that's considered to have a pretty high status in society. Right? Another person was kicked out of their home as a 20-year-old, and they've been living on the street for 5 years. They're a homeless person who's been homeless for 5 years, and that person accepts Islam. Right? One is at the highest, or one of the highest statuses in society. The other is at the lowest. Before Islam, the highest, lowest. So the Prophet ﷺ was saying, those who are best before Islam are also best during Islam, as long as they learn the rules. What that means is, your habits before Islam are likely going to be the same as your habits when you come into Islam. So in order to become a mayor, there must have been a lot of work that was done. A lot of grassroots work, right? Getting to know people, remembering people's names, right? Taking care of people's needs and requests, right? Talking to authority when needed, right? Standing up for what's right, speaking out against tyranny. All these are characteristics of a person who's in charge, a mayor. And it's something that's natural, they're always doing it. However, a person who is sleeping on the streets, and this is not always, but you find it to be, quite common, especially someone who's there for 5 years, they don't necessarily have work ethic, right? They don't necessarily have good habits, right? And this is a very generic example. خياركم في الجاهلية خياركم في الإسلام يفقهون. The best of you in Jahiliyyah. So basically what the Prophet ﷺ is saying, don't give up your codes of honor when you come into Islam. Just because you're Muslim now does not mean you forget about manners. You forget about how to conduct yourself in public, right? You forget about how to interact with people, right, with honor. So basically the Prophet ﷺ is answering, the most honorable of people in Islam are the same who are the most honorable people before they were Muslim. Meaning, if you were raised with good values, good human interaction, thinking the best of others, uplifting people, empowering others, then when you come into Islam, you're going to have a lot of the same traits. خياركم في الجاهلية خياركم في الإسلام إذا فقهوا. The best of you in ignorance are the best of you in Islam, as long as they learn the rules. Why as long as they learn the rules? Yes.
Because you can't really be the best in Islam if you don't know the rules.
Anyone else want to elaborate? No? Subhanallah. Yes?
You have to know the rules in order to be the best in Islam. That's what you said. No. Have you read it?
To kind of channel that for the sake of Allah rather than just for society.
To channel it for the sake of Allah. So, what tends to happen is when a person accepts Islam, they have habits.
What are habits?
What are habits?
All habits, not habits.
Right. They have habits. They have things that they do. They have routines. Right? Things that they're used to. And if a person is successful, they have good habits. Okay? Now, if they don't know the rules of Islam, Islamic rules, they would maybe be surprised that a lot of those habits are wrong against Islam. So therefore, their practice of these honorable, quote-unquote, habits would not be honorable because they're going against the teachings of Islam. So the Prophet ﷺ was basically saying, keep the good habits as long as they don't contradict Islam. And how do you know if they contradict or not? You learn. You learn the deen. So basically, the Prophet ﷺ was saying, hold on to your good habits as long as they don't contradict the Quran and Sunnah. طيب. We're still talking about an honor code. Part of our honor code as Muslims is there's a permissibility of treating people in kind. So if a person slaps you across your face, you slap them across their face. Okay? If a person takes your money, you take their money. I mean, of course, you want to take things to a court of law, but if things are lawless, then you get what's owed to you, and don't take any more. Treating people in kind. What does that mean?
Nice.
No. Not treating people kindly. Treating people in kind. What does that mean? I don't know. Which is what? Right. If someone does bad onto you, you do bad onto them. قال الله تعالى وجزاء سيئة سيئة مثلها. The reward of a harmful action is a harmful action just like it. لكن he says فمن عفا وأصلح فأجره على الله. However, a person who pardons and reconciles, his reward is with Allah. So yes, there is a permissibility of treating in kind. However, the best course of action is to reconcile. Is to think the best of the other and forgive. Okay? So, عن محمد بن علي بن الحنفية قوله تعالى هل جزاء الإحسان إلى الإحسان قال هي مسجلة للبر والفاجر. I'm sorry, what? هي مسجلة للبر والفاجر. قال أبو عبد الله قال أبو عبيد مسجلة مرسلة. طيب. So this athar, this report is by Muhammad ibn Ali ibn al-Hanafiya, one of the scholars of the third generation. We all know the ayah in the Quran, Surah Al-Rahman, هَلْ جَزَاءُ الْإِحْسَانِ إِلَّا الْإِحْسَانِ, is the reward of excellence other than excellence. What does this mean? Does this mean when you're kind to people who are honorable, that you get back an excellence? Or kind to those who are near to you? Like, what is it talking about? So, in the Quran, we know that anytime there's a general statement, a statement that is over-encompassing, a statement that is general, right? We take its generality as is. So it said, excellence. Excellence could be to those who are good, those who are evil, those who are your relatives, those who are far. It could be to an animal, it could be to yourself, right? It could be to how you're treating a building. Yes, I've been nice.
I'm confused. How did they get the water?
How did they get the water? That is a good question. It sounds like you're thirsty. So I think it would be a good idea if you go to the office and ask Sa'ad if he has any water. Alright? Come right back, my friend. Where were we? هل جزاء الإحسان إلى الإحسان. So because it's general, generality is kept as general unless there's something to specify it. So if a person is muhsin, muhsin means you treat people with honor, even if they cause you harm. The reward for this is ihsan. What is ihsan? But the second ihsan is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You guys know about the last person that goes to Jannah? You never heard of him? So we're talking about the ihsan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how Allah azza wa jalla treats people with ihsan. That's what we're talking about, that's the topic. So we know that anybody that dies worshipping other than Allah will never go to Jannah. Okay, this is what we believe as Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, based on the Quran and Sunnah. If a person dies and they are not Muslim, they're not saying La ilaha illallah, you didn't find it? You didn't find Sa'ad? Oh, it's finished? That if a person dies and they're not Muslim, they don't go to Jannah. They don't go to heaven. That's our belief as Muslims. Another belief that we have as Muslims, as long as a person dies as a Muslim, they will go to Jannah, whether it's immediately or eventually. they will go to Jannah. Okay? It doesn't matter how many sins they committed, as long as they die as a Muslim. No polytheism. You with me, Sam? Abdul Mahsin, do you understand? Come on. So for those, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in the Quran, some of His servants are ظَالِمٌ لِنَفْسِهِ, are committing tyranny against themselves, oppressing themselves. And those who are oppressing themselves are those who are disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that there are many Muslims who die, but they were committing a lot of sins. Eventually, however, right, after a while, and that while is determined by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they'll go to Jannah, where there's only punishment in the grave, punishment in the grave plus the trials of Yawm al-Qiyamah, punishment in the grave plus the trials of Yawm al-Qiyamah, plus going to Jahannam for a while. So there are many people like this. The last person, however, the final person that's going to be taken out of Jahannam, right, will be put near the gates of Jannah. And he'll say, "Ay Rabbi, I just want to be near the gates. And I'll never ask you for anything more." So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring him near to the gates, not the dates. I said dates apparently because I'm hungry. Right? So he came near the dates again. And he's smelling the scent of Jannah. He's hearing the laughter of the people of Jannah. He's and he's feeling like, man, if I could just get closer. So he says, "Ya Allah, I will never ask you for anything else. Just get me close to the gate, right there next to it. And I'll never ask you for anything else. Wallahi, I will never ask you for anything else." So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers his dua and brings him closer to the gate. We're talking about Allah's what? Excellence. How He treats His servant, and this is the last person to go to Jannah. Meaning, he was the worst Muslim. The absolute worst Muslim in history of all time. The absolute goat of bad Muslims.
That's one
Right?
way to put it.
What?
I said that's one way to put it.
Yeah, when it comes to bad Muslims, he's the goat. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers his dua and brings him near to Jannah, right next to the gates. So he's there for a while, and it's not mentioned how long he's standing there, but he's there for a long while. And he says, "Ya Rabbi, I know I said I would never ask you for anything more, but Ya Rabbi, just open the gates so I can just see what they're doing in there. Right? I just want to see the trees, and I just want to, have a better scent, and just open the gates, Ya Allah." So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, "Didn't you ask me that say you would never ask me for anything?" He said yes, but he would say yes, but this is the last thing. Okay, this is the last thing, this is the last thing. So Allah will open the gates of Jannah. So he'll be standing there for a long while, just observing, seeing the gardens of Jannah, seeing the rivers, seeing the milk, seeing the gold, seeing the silver, seeing all these beautiful things. And then he becomes a little bit more anxious and eager. And he says, "Ay Rabbi, adkhilni Jannah. Oh Allah, allow me to enter Jannah. I know I said I would never ask you for anything else, but it's so beautiful. Right? You won't ask me, I won't ask you. You sure? No." So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows him to enter Jannah. And he is told, "Do you see that palace over there and that garden over there? Yes. That palace and that garden is for you. Those rivers are yours." Right? And then he will be given and given and given. And then he will be asked, are you pleased with what you have? And he will say, yes, wallahi, I am pleased with what I have. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will command that he is given more times over than he is pleased with. More times over than he is pleased with. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala displays ihsan. Now, this is the goat of the worst Muslims. The worst of the worst. But he was Muslim. How would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala treat someone who's not so bad? Right? So if we're going to compare. So now back to our topic, هل جزاء الإحسان إلا الإحسان. So if you want Allah Azza wa Jal to treat you with ihsan, treat His creation with ihsan. Yeah? Fine. Treating orphans. And an orphan, in the Islamic vernacular, is one child who's under the age of puberty and has lost his father. Why father, not mother? The father is the one who provides protection for a child. Protection from physical harm and protection from bullying and for protection from having to ask for any handouts because the father provides. That doesn't mean a person losing their mother is insignificant. However, when it comes to a society issue, then losing the father is more significant. Okay? So, this also applies to people who are in need, even if they're not yatim. The reason why yatim is emphasized or talked about so much is because of the amount of loss that they suffer, especially at a young age. But that doesn't mean that there are others who you will not receive the benefit of assisting or being there for when they are in need because they're not yatim. So, عن أبي الغيث عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال الساعي على الأرملة والمساكين كالمجاهدين في سبيل الله وكالذي يصوم النهار ويقوم الليل. Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, on the authority of Abu Hurairah رضي الله عنه, the one who walks and does things to assist a widow and poor people. Poor people here was referred to is yatama. Yes, Abdul Mahsin. Why are they not here? Because apparently they chose not to be here. And you are here because you chose to be here. Correct? He said, the Prophet ﷺ said, a person who helps or does favors or does work, goes the extra mile to assist a widow and poor people that's referring to here is the yatama. Because a widow would usually have orphans. So a person who goes the extra mile to provide for orphans are like those who fight in battle. And like those who fast every day and stand in prayer every night. I have a story for you guys. There was a family whom I know personally. The father was not that good a guy. He was abusive to the mother, and not very helpful. Anyway, this mother had 2 children, a boy and a girl. While these children were still young, say less than 10, the father passed away. The mother decided that she would raise her children on her own. She decided that she was not going to marry until she raises her children to be adults. Okay? A person that knew her husband, a man, offered to allow her to continue to live in the apartment that he had in his building, rent-free. Okay? Said what? So this is a widow, and she has 2 children who are orphans. So, on top of providing free rent, he also used to bring groceries. Okay? And this went on for a couple of years. So this man came to a point where he said, you know, she's a widow, she has children, I'm already helping out. So he asked her hand in marriage as a second wife. Right? It's permissible to have more than one wife. Okay? He asked her hand in marriage as a second wife. What did she say? What? She refused. She said, if you're helping me because you want to marry me, stop helping me. I'll find my provisions elsewhere. Allah will provide. But if you want to help me because you want to help me, don't do it because you want to marry me, because that's not what I want to do. So subhanAllah, this man kept his word. And he did not bother her thereafter. He continued to provide her free rent, continued to provide her with things that she needed, to the point that he even paid for her children's education. Right? Continued to pay for her children's education until they became adults. Now, this is an example of a person who is providing for orphans without asking for anything in return. And in order to do that, it takes a long time. Drink with your right hand, my friend. It takes a long time and a lot of dedication. So if a person is able to do that, the Prophet ﷺ said, it's the same as standing in prayer all night. The same as fasting all day, every day. Nasallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And there are good people out there. Prophet ﷺ said in another hadith, أنا وكافل اليتيم في الجنة كهاتين أو كهذه من هذه شك سفيان في الوسطى والتي تلي الإبهام. So the Prophet ﷺ put up his fingers and he said, I and the sponsor of an orphan are in Jannah like these two. How close are my fingers together? So a person who sponsors an orphan is with the Prophet ﷺ in Jannah, just like these two are next to each other. You said what?
Does it go to Al-Wazir?
You gotta speak up, my friend. Huh?
Al-Wasila?
Al-wasila. That would make sense.
For him?
That would make sense. It seems like your logic is accurate, is what I'm saying.
That's what it is.
Another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said on the authority of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, قال خير بيت في المسلمين بيت فيه يتيم يحسن إليه. The best home among the Muslims is a home wherein an orphan is being treated with honor. The best home is a home where there's an orphan that is treated with honor. وشر بيت في المسلمين بيت فيه يتيم يساء إليه. And the worst home among the Muslims is a home where there is an orphan who is being treated dishonorably, treated badly, treated harmfully. Then he said, أنا وكافر اليتيم في الجنة كهاتين. He said, I and the sponsor of an orphan are in Jannah like these two. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And many ahadith. The Prophet ﷺ, as I said, specified a person who is an orphan. However, this also can apply to any person who is deprived. Whether it's a child, whether it's an adult, right? Male, female. You're there for them. Prophet ﷺ said, من كان في حاجة أخيه كان الله في حاجته. Whomsoever is out to aid his brother, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is out to aid them. A sister comes to you. For example, she doesn't have on her hijab. She's a Muslimah. She's in distress. Right? She needs someone to speak to because she's having an issue. Right? Do you say to her sister, go put on your hijab first? I'm asking.
Depends on the situation.
Okay. So when do you say, sister, go put on your hijab?
When it's something small. When it's like,
It can be something small because she's in distress. Even if it's something small, you don't know the sister. Who do you think you are telling her to go put on a hijab? Maybe she doesn't have a hijab. Maybe somebody ripped it off of her head.
I can buy her one. I can buy her one.
You can buy her one. That's very good. But is that your job?
I know, but like,
So this is a very important aspect, right? Because we're talking about helping people who are in need. Helping people who are in need should not have anything to do with their religiosity. Right? It should have nothing to do with how well they are worshiping Allah. You help because they are human. Right? You help because they are in need. And you help because you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help you yawm al-qiyamah. And I see this happen a lot among the Muslims. Okay? We want people to be how we want them to be before we give a helping hand. Especially when it comes to new Muslims, for example. Right? A brother came in, took his shahada. The first thing they asked him, okay, what's your name now? What do you mean, what's my name now? What does that have to do with anything? First thing they tell them, oh, okay, you have to learn how to read the Quran. You have to start eating pork. Stop eating pork. You have to. Yeah, I need a place to stay. What?
You do have to stop eating pork.
I'm sorry, what?
You do have to stop eating pork.
But that's not what he needs right now. Allah Azza wa Jalla يقول ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة. He should call to Allah Azza wa Jalla with wisdom. And part of wisdom is giving the people what they need at the time. Right? Giving people what they require at the time. And not forcing them to be a certain way that you want them to be. Remember we talked about the goat of worst people, worst Muslims? Yeah? He still goes to Jannah. Tell him about it later. If he wants to. If he doesn't want to hear it, he came late. Right? The goat of worst Muslims. The worst of worst Muslims. Right? And what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does for him in Jannah. Right? Who are we to judge people that come to us for help? Who are we? Who do you think we are? Yes.
Maybe you can help them and then tell them that is wrong.
Maybe. But maybe not. Yes. Baby steps, exactly. Very good. And they should not feel this person that you're assisting, an orphan or anyone above that, they should not feel that you're assisting them because you want something from them in return. Right? Because you don't want nothing from them, you want something from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah.
What is it?
We have another 20 minutes, inshallah. 15, 20 minutes. Okay. Yes.
Is it haram to remind people of your past charity?
Is it haram to what?
Reminds people of your charity that you did in the past.
Right, very good. I was about to talk about that. Yes, Abdul Muhsin.
People say that if I go to a Walmart, it's haram.
People say that what?
Like if I go to Walmart, I'm confused that people say it's haram
Haram to do what?
to go to a Walmart.
To go to a woman? To go to Walmart? Why would it be haram to go to Walmart? Yusuf thinks it's funny because he goes to Walmart every day.
No, because what does that have to do with the ethics class?
It's part of ethics.
Wait, I have a question.
What's your question?
So,
The first question you asked, I didn't answer yet. What was your first question? You forgot it. Why'd you ask me if you forgot it?
no. Well, the question right now, I know it.
But the first one.
First one?
So should I forget about it too? Because I remember what it was.
Is it the one about the prophet?
Nope. So the question that, what?
Yeah, okay. To remind people of your past charity.
Yeah, because you nullify it. It's as if you didn't give it. Right? So this is something that parents do a lot. Okay? I raised you. I fed you. Right? I taught you. I did this for you, I did that for you. How could you talk to me like this? Are parents rightful when they do that?
No, not
Why not?
because they're supposed to do that.
Because that's their responsibility. Exactly. So the fact that they did it, this is what you were supposed to do. Nobody told you to have a child. Did anybody put a gun to your head and force you to have a child? I mean, if that was the case, then it's still your responsibility. The child did not make you have him or her. Does that mean that we disrespect our parents?
No.
What does that mean?
That means to remind our parents not to do that.
No. That means you shut up when your parents do that. Right? You listen.
To remember the sacrifice that they did.
But this is for the parents to remember that they're not supposed to do that. But for you, you have to be honorable. Remember we talked about honor? Right? Your parents were there for you. They sacrificed. They did more than they were supposed to. Now it's your job to give back and be there for them. And tell them, I appreciate what you've done for me. And this is me trying to give back. Right? So for them, they cannot continue to remind you of what they did for you. Khalas. That's on them, not on you. But for you, you have to act honorably with your parents. So yes, especially with orphans that are not your children, and you raised them, and you helped them, you assisted them, khalas. You don't tell them, you have to do this for me, you have to do that for me, because I did so and so for you, I did so and so for you, khalas. You did what you did, let them do what they know is best. If they don't help you, if they're not there for you, that's on them. That's between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As long as you did your job. You don't remind people of what you did for them. You don't. Because if you do, it's as if you didn't do anything. يا أيها الذين آمنوا يقول تبارك وتعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تبطلوا صدقاتكم بالمن والأذى. O you who believe, do not nullify your charity through reminding others of your favors upon them. Suhaib, you have a question?
Is it harm to decide when
So the only thing that I heard was, is it haram too? Everything else I did not hear.
He said, is it haram? Because like Netflix support Israel, so we is it haram to give money to Netflix to watch?
Is it haram to pay for Netflix to watch?
No.
Because
Because yeah, because
Is it haram to pay for Netflix subscription?
Is it haram
Yeah.
to pay for like a company?
yeah.
It's despicable. And we as Muslims, we don't want to act despicably.
Yeah.
We want to act honorably. Yeah. What's your question, Abdul Mahsin?
keep saying Netflix is haram.
Who keeps saying that Netflix is haram?
Is it haram and haram?
Do you have?
It's very bad. It's very bad.
It's a bad thing.
And let's just try to stay on topic.
Yeah, it's a bad thing. You don't want to do it. Because we want to act honorably. And part of acting honorably is we support the businesses that act in a way that's suitable for us, that's beneficial for us. Right? And we let go of the businesses that are causing us harm. Yeah.
So you know, like in the past, for instance, you've been talking about pick the most non-harmful way. So like, what if a company supports Palestine, but like if they give it out to the public, they'll get boycotted. So do they just not put that out for the people?
I don't know. I don't know. Yes, Abdul Mahsin. I can't hear you. I have no idea what you just said.
Is Disney haram?
Is Disney haram? I don't know. I'm not very familiar with Disney. Is Disney haram? I mean, is that? I don't think that's even a valid question. Yes, Suhaib. Yes, you can make dua against any tyrant. Anyone who's a tyrant, make dua against them. But I don't say that word, right? Because I'm avoiding scrutiny coming to the masjid. Make sense? We don't want issues. We don't want the masjid to fall into issues. But when I make dua, everybody knows what I'm talking about. I don't have to say the name. Right? Oh Allah, destroy those who've occupied our brothers and sisters. You guys know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't have to say the name. Okay? You get it? Assalamu alaikum, Brother Omar. I'm so happy to see you. Happy to see yourself?
I'm happier than you.
You happy to see yourself?
No, I'm happy to see you.
Jazakallah khairan. Or for example, I give Mu'adh a black eye every day, and I'm still teaching everybody Quran, and everybody comes to my Quran class. But when I see Mu'adh, I give him a black eye. Would you guys still come to my Quran class? Yeah, you guys should boycott me. Right? I'm harmful. I'm beating this poor child's head in. Right? But yes.
He said everybody in his Quran class
Versus me? If you guys can catch me. Yes, Abdul Mahsin. You said what?
Sometimes the streets, people on the street with signs up. I felt them.
Wearing shorts is permissible. Okay? As long as they cover the thighs and the knees. If the shorts do not cover the thighs and the knees, it is not permissible to wear. Unless you're at home. Okay? That's just a default rule. Okay? So even with playing soccer, even with playing basketball, even with playing other sports, you wear shorts, make sure they cover the thighs and preferably the knees as well. Shin shorts, like here. Why? Because for men, our awrah, our private parts begin with our thighs. That's where our private parts begin. Okay? Yes.
When I see somebody on the street and he was rich, but he gave him money,
How did you know he was rich?
I didn't know.
You didn't know.
He was rich, and I gave him money, and he took the money. I think that's stealing. He stole the money.
That's from him. He stole it. All right. So, inshallah, I'm hoping that we won't wear shorts unless they're here. Okay. Any more questions? Yeah.
So about the guy who is orphan, or who takes care of an orphan for no reason, for the sake of Allah. You said that he's as close as this Prophet Muhammad. Is it the Prophet Muhammad in Jannah to Muslim, which is
Yes.
all the prophets? So
Yes.
how would he be that close?
I mean, you're thinking about this kind of like from a logical standpoint, but how things work in the hereafter are not the same way they work here. Okay, so what we know is that it's a very good thing, but what exactly it means and how it works, like what would be the arrangement? Are there like bunk beds, right? Is the Prophet coming down some days and he's going up some days, right? Are they doing like every other day type thing, having lunch together? Are they, I mean, we don't, isn't the Prophet supposed to be in the wasila and that's it? He's just going to be there by himself, just chilling there, meditating. Oh.
Can he go down? He can go down to the other house.
Technically, yes, but people can't go up. Okay. So in Jannah, in Jannah and Jahannam, it's not the same rules don't apply that apply here. Last question, Abdul Muhsin.
When I see somebody riding a motorcycle and he took it from the next day.
He took it from who?
From my friend.
They took a motorcycle from your friend? Your friend has a motorcycle?
Like a toy motorcycle.
Like a toy motorcycle?
Yeah.
Right?
Like a toy bike, yeah. And he took it from
Why is it not his? Why is it not his? What? Is it his friends or is it yours? It's yours or your friends? Oh, he took it from you. Right? Kick him in the head and take it. Yeah. Last question.
What if someone takes your bike, okay, then Roger did and put it back in the same place?
Alhamdulillah, they put it back.
So
Kiss him on the forehead next time you see him. Tell him thank you. I mean, it depends on if you forgive him or not. Umar, what he said. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك